Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and happy Monday. Wow, we have a whole week ahead of us. So today's tutorial is on this purpley eye look right here, and I chose these oranges and terracottas as a transition shade because I feel like these shades on me, I guess with my blue eyes, they just like work together, makes the blue eyes pop. I just love this color combination together anyway. I love how they mesh, so that is what I did. And I used the Dominique's Cosmetics, the Berries and Cream palette. Been wanting to do this for a while. Palette does have a magnetic closure. It's just a stunning sheet. You got a full-size mirror, but she always includes really good transition shades. This one right here, Soft and Sweet, is just beautiful. Oh, and then I love this one. It's kind of a white, pinky white, kind of like an icy pinky white, and this one's kind of a nice icy white, this cookie dough shade. This warm pie shade is beautiful, but this bittersweet shade, this purple one, is pretty much the star of the show for this look. So yeah, absolutely love this palette. So yeah, if you guys want to see how I created this look, then just keep on watching. If you are new, I will take a second to welcome you guys to the video and to my channel. I'm Lauren Jade. I'm 57. I will be 58 next month. Yep, in just a few weeks. I have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin with hooded eyes that are slightly downturned, so I'm always doing things a little bit differently than the cookie cutter one-size-fits-all YouTube tutorial where they go into the crease with a large fluffy brush and swashbuckle that color all over the place. I do things just a little bit differently for my eye shape, and just because when you have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin, you almost kind of need to, I guess, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's it. So if you guys are new, I would love to have you join me. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. That way YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload. And if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching and let's get right into this tutorial. Oh, where's my... Okay. All right. I think we're ready to rock and roll. All right, I'm going to start with priming my eyes using MAC's Paint Pot here in Soft Ochre. I like to kind of use a brush, but I also like to kind of tap it in so it really kind of gets into that skin. And then when I apply my shadow, it kind of gives that cream shadow effect. So that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and set this primer. I'm using Melt's Blur. I've said this before. I don't know where I'd be in the eyeshadow game now without this shade. This shade is everything. It's a beautiful peachy skin tone friendly shade, and I'm just going to tap this on this, basically the upper socket bone area. So right on my orbital bone and just kind of like right in this upper crease region, taking it kind of close to the brow. And I'm going to tap it in. This shade is so beautiful that it literally gives that cream shadow effect. Like it's literally like your skin tone in there. Like this just matches my skin tone perfectly. So I love these skin tone friendly shades. If you guys are new and this is your first time watching me, then you probably don't know. But if it's not, then you know that I've said bye-bye. Bye-bye to that translucent powder method of setting the base. I always thought that was kind of half-baked. It's just not for me, but if it works for you, then I would encourage you to keep doing it. I just like these skin tone friendly shades because they just, not only do they, you know, add some contour up there, but it just literally looks like it's coming from within the skin, if you will. So that's what I'm doing with this. All right, I'm going to dip into this classic shade. This is a nice, it's like it's not really a bone shade. It's more like a nice, like a banana shade kind of. And I'm just going to put this right underneath the arch of the brow for now. I may go in and put like a little shimmer underneath the arch. But I'm going to just use this shade to carve out the brow and give it some shape. I have already concealed around the brow area, so now I'm just going to go in and further shape this area. A bit of baking just because I am going to be working with those purples. So I'm gonna do this as always. I'm grabbing my Benefit Hoola bronzer, and I'm going to just contour the upper crease section. So basically right on my orbital bone, which is where I usually start. So I'm gonna kind of go right in this area, right kind of in this ridge of this nose contour area right here, and I'm going to connect it into like right where the brow bone starts, right on this little inner socket region. So right in here, so pushing it up towards the brow. I love this inner corner shading. I do typically not bring, you know, colors in, you know, too far. I just like the bronzer. I like the bronzer on that inner corner. It's just what I like on me. So that's usually what I do there. And then going really high up into that socket, really kind of catfishing and getting really up underneath that socket bone, I'm just going to dust a little bit through the rest of the socket. This just kind of gives a nice little light contour and just kind of starts to shape out the eye. I like to warm up that crease socket here. And you want to make sure that you're looking down into the mirror so you can fully see the entire socket line, so you can see your orbital bone, so you can see that natural shading, so that you can kind of get this right underneath that socket bone. So I'm holding the brush down here because I do want to push this color up high. I want to catfish as much as possible, and just kind of adds that, you know, inner corner shading, which just gives such a nice sultry fade to the look. I just love it. I'm going to take a little bit of this bone shade now, and I'm just going to go again underneath just the arch of the brow and just kind of drag it down a little bit just to kind of catch the edges of that bronzer, and then go back in with just like this little fluffy brush here and just kind of look. I'm going to cut the crease really precisely so that I know exactly where I'm going to go with my upper crease shades. I'm going to just take this bone shade here from the Tarte Clay Play, and just I'm going to cut right above my natural crease. So basically about 2 to 3 millimeters above. Gonna cut right underneath that socket bone, just following the shape of my eye. So whatever your natural eye shape is, you just want to follow that. And I'm just gonna tap that color in, clean it up out there. A lot of tapping and pressing I like to do. I find that like on mature, crepey, wrinkly skin, tapping and pressing, and I've said this like a million times, is like your best friend. If you have young, tight, taut skin, then I suppose you could just go in and, you know, swashbuckle all that color and that will work for you. But if you've got wrinkly skin, like I do over here, this is like your best friend. I actually started this and the shade, and I realized I had the wrong brush and I thought I was using my MAC 224 and I wasn't. So I've got it now, and I'm going to go over what I did right here. So basically I am working in this section right here. So starting from like right here to right here. So it's this outer 2/3 basically of the eye, and I like everything kind of going up. You know, you see some people put their color into that crease and they just basically kind of deposit that color kind of straight across. I'm kind of going up because I like the shadows to kind of go around my eye shape and just kind of create like a basically like a shape around my eyes, and I'm following, you know, what my eye shape just does, so the natural contour of my eye. So I'm going to be like right in here, and I'm just working this outer section. So I'm just going to be following my socket bone shape here, and you really kind of want to get that shadow and that color underneath that socket bone, so you're right in the hollow of the eye, and that kind of will be like your guide, I guess, if you will, like where you're gonna be placing the shadow. So I'm picking this up, this shade here. By the way, I'm using this Road Soda shade here. I've been using this palette pretty much nonstop. It's perfect for me, has all my transition shades, and I just love these oranges and this terracotta. Like this right here, I think is just a beautiful backdrop against like the purple that we're going to be using. So that's why I'm doing that. So on the tip of this MAC 224, now on my eye shape, I have these little grooves, these little indentations, kind of like right here, hoping the camera can pick it up. So like right on this inner part, you can kind of see that, right? So I don't really have that out here, but I have that in here. So I'm going to start like in the front center part of my eye where I can get my brush in that little groove so that I have the, so I'm in there and I got that shape going. So now I'm just going to be going like this. I'm just focusing on this outer 2/3 area. Right in here, right there. And I'm just directly above my natural crease. So maybe a few millimeters. I'm trying to make sure that this color stays underneath that socket bone so that I can blend it upwards onto the upper brow bone area here. So I am holding my brush sort of an upward angle. And again, I'm just doing this transition shade in this little area right here. It's sort of a upward motion. It's almost kind of like it's rounded here, right? So that it follows the alignment of the arch of the brow. You see the arch of the brow goes like this. I'm kind of rounding out, like kind of like right where my natural crease kind of curves naturally. I'm doing the same thing with this little fake, you know, shadow crease area right up in here. So everything is kind of in that alignment. I'm going to take this shade right here, Highway Queen, and I'm going to kind of use that to kind of further blend out these edges and just to kind of get that little gradient of color going. So this brush is perfect. This is a Wet n Wild brush, literally 50 cents on Amazon with Prime shipping. I think I bought like 5 of these because the tip of this is just perfect for what I need it for. So just like right on the tip, I'm just going to stamp like right where I want a little bit of height, which is up in here. Almost kind of like towards the end of that crease, but just kind of right in there and just do circular motions. Just like stamping, like pinpointing like where I like that height. Boom, like right there. It just like adds, you know, lift to my eye shape. That same Road Soda shade on a M433, and I'm just going to pack that right where I want a little bit more of that concentration of color. So kind of mimicking my natural crease just in this outer section right here. I didn't even blend this at all. I just continued to tap and press this right underneath that socket bone. I don't know what that noise was. Where was I? All right, I'm just going to build a little bit of this color now on this outer lid here. Kind of marking off this area right here. So usually like right where I stop the eyeshadow right here, just kind of closing off that little border right there and just kind of making it like sort of like a, we're going to be getting into the Berries and Cream palettes. I just love how the purple plays with these oranges and this terracotta, so that's why I wanted this as a transition shade. So I'm going to take Bittersweet. I absolutely love, love, love this shade of purple. It is stunning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start out kind of doing like a little light shadowing, and I'm just going to kind of build this color up really slowly. So I'm not going to go in too heavy-handed. I'm going to kind of build this up here on this outer corner, starting kind of at the lash line and kind of moving upwards, almost like at an angle here, almost like I'm doing a, basically like a shadowing, which is really kind of what I am doing. I'm starting out kind of a shadowing because you really want, ideally you want your eyeshadow shape to follow the, you know, alignment of the eyeliner, right? You want your eyeliner to, you know, mesh, be in alignment with your eyeshadow. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of starting out like a little shadowing. So starting with my lower lash line, kind of going up and then just kind of over. So that's kind of how I'm building this, just to start with. All right, so once I have built up a little base shadowing with this shade, I'm going to take a little bit more and I'm just going to lightly work this right onto my natural, like right onto the lid, but right on my natural crease. So I'm not taking it any higher than the natural crease. I'm just going to keep this color pretty much like on this lower like portion of the lid. And even though I'm dragging this up and over and inward, I'm still going to not take it all the way in, and I'm still going to keep this inner corner, you know, bright, but I do want to have this purple laid down underneath that, you know, the shimmer and that lighter shade that I'm going to go in with, because it's going to be really pretty. Like in the background, it's just going to add that purple. I mean, you're going to see that purple hue come through. And then once I get the edges kind of buffed upwards a little bit into that orangey terracotta shade, then I'm picking back up a little bit more and just tapping and pressing and just laying this down like right in this area right here, just to intensify that color a little bit more. And then I'm going to go back with the MAC 224 and that first shade that is like right up in here. And I'm just going to take a little bit more, and again I'm going to start in this upper front part right here and just kind of put this in the brush in that groove and just kind of go over the edges. So it's just going to kind of re-intensify that yellow. And it's also going to pick up the edges of that purpley shade that I kind of buffed out and buffed upwards, and just kind of further blend that in there. I'm going to go back into that purpley shade, but first I'm going to go into the Latte palette and take this Double Shot shade, and I'm going to go in right in this outer area here, kind of like I'm mapping out like a wing. Basically I'm kind of drawing on my little wing, as I always do with shadow. So I'm just deepening it up right along this area right here with this shade, and just kind of taking it to the end. I'm going to go with my lower lash line, kind of go up and then connect it inward. So that's kind of where I'm going to have the depth of this purpley shade. I am going to go back to that purple and re-intensify like this outer area, but first I'm going to do my inner corner. This is the fun part. I'm going in with the P. Louise base in the shade 0, and I'm using my P. Louise brush, and I'm just going to put this right on this inner portion, right where I want that brightness. So I'm not going to do this on the entire lid. I'm not cutting everything. I'm just doing like this front part here. And then while that's nice and tacky, I'm going to work quick. I'm going to grab this Sweet Cream shade, lay that down. That's really going to make everything really pop even more. And then I'm going in with the Sugar Cream on top of it. All right, so I was using Sweet Cream right here and Sugar Cookie, and now I'm going to go back into the Bittersweet. I'm going to go back into that purple, and I'm going to start to kind of bring that from this outer corner here, taking it up sort of at an angle, and then kind of going straight like right here, kind of like where I'm closing off the border, and then kind of moving it in to that natural crease area, just kind of keeping it low, not taking it any higher than that, and then just going to kind of bring it on over and just kind of graze like the edges now of that, what is this one called, the Sugar Cookie shade. I love this technique. It makes working with color, like on your lid area, just so, you know, I don't want to say the word easy, but it makes it kind of effortless, really, because, you know, you're not worrying about mudding a lot of shades together. I'm going to take this Soft and Sweet shade right here, which is a beautiful neutral shade, and I'm going to pop it just right in between where the kind of purple is and kind of like where the orange is. I'm just going to take, like, that's what makes it so much fun about filming on a cell phone, is when you get a phone call, it shuts the video off. So I'm not sure where I was. I think I was talking about using that Soft and Sweet shade as kind of like right in the middle between like the oranges and the terracottas, like up in here, and like this purple, just to kind of, you know, tone down that shade if that's what you wanted to do. It's just another option if you didn't like that bright orangey kind of contrast with the purples, which I do. I love that contrast. I love those shades together. So I'm taking this cranberry shade and I'm just going to kind of put this like in the middle. It's just a shimmery shade, and it's just kind of like marrying this sugar cookie. I think that's what's called. Yeah, the white sugar cookie shade in with the purple that is on the lid. It's just a nice little gradient fade now of color on the lid. I'm just going to move this over a little bit. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke a little bit of this toasted shade and this black, because I don't want to do solid black really as a liner, because I've got, you know, the purple now as a nice background. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of both of these, and I'm just going to do like a little smoke right on the lash line. I'm keeping this really, really close to the lash line and just kind of pushing it into the lashes, almost kind of like stamping, but I'm using this Marc Jacobs smudger brush so that I can not only lay down the color and kind of get it in there, but I can also kind of smoke above it, and that's what I'm going to use that toasted shade for. I'm going to use that to kind of smoke up the black. It almost gives a nice kind of a grayish look. Taking it inward a little bit. I'm going to switch brushes in a second. But just going to pull this out here, and again starting at my lower lash line, kind of following that angle line going up as if it were to continue on to the brow, and then dragging it in. And back in now with this angled liner brush, I'm going to do a nice thin line on the inner part right here, just keeping it really, really close to the lashes and making it really, really thin. Started out with the black, and then I just kind of went on top of it with that taupey shade. It just kind of gave it a nice little, like a charcoal gray type of a shade. So I just kind of smoked that on top of the black. All right, going back in with that first brush and just kind of smoking around here. I like to kind of like close off like this borders right here. It just kind of helps keep everything kind of in. Just kind of line it up with your lower lash line, kind of going up. Just kind of keeps everything in. Just going to show you guys this because they are so stunning. I just picked up these Jouer, or Jouer, however you say it, these blushes. This one is in the shade Darling. And then I got the shade Odeur. Some plastic pieces fall out. But here it is right here. It is absolutely stunning. And both of these two are very soft. Very like, I don't know. It's just almost like kind of like that Gold Rush Benefit's Gold Rush. Oh, and Rockateur. Love those blushes from Benefit. But yeah, just really, really soft. All right, guys, that's it. That completes the look. Oh, I got to spray the face. And then come back and we're going to chat about what is coming up next. Hold that thought. I'm going to use my favorite setting spray, my Morphe spray. I got my fan. All right, so coming up next, I do want to do this Corda Rosa palette from Sigma. Just a stunning palette. All right, guys, that completes the look. I hope you guys seen that. It was just a few steps, and you can work with these purpley shades. I love how this turned out, but I love these shades together. You know, I love these oranges, like this terracotta shade next to the purple. I think it's just stunning. All right, guys, that's it. That completes the look. If you guys like what you've seen, if you guys learned something and picked up a few tips and tricks, I hope you guys will join me. Please hit the subscribe button on your way out. And that is it. Mwah. Love you guys, and I will see you all in my next video.